T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Shout out to Kopish.
Shout out to Kopish, guys.
All the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that guy. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys.
Kopish.
What is going on? What is going on, people? It is your boy Drift. It is Kopish, and we are back with the one that you've been waiting for, the eagerly anticipated part 2 of FSG in, FSG out. Ironically, when we did this the first time, the only player we signed was Ibu, and lo and behold, the only player we signed was Ibu. But anyway, we will get into that. We will have a couple of other people joining us shortly. But first, I want to say a big up to my little co-host, actually my big co-host, should I say, Mr. Callum. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, I'm ready for war today, people.
I know. I just let the people in on this. Today, Cal is actually nothing to do with Kopish. He is purely just on the panel, and he's going to war. He actually wants no affiliation with us, because apparently he's gonna lay the smacker down today. So we'll be that. Listen, this one's gonna be a good one, man. Last minute jumping, what's going on, brother? Big up yourself for jumping in last minute, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was just calling, ready to do some other stuff. I just get the call up, so you know, man's here, man's ready. You know what I mean? Any chance I get to complain, you know, I'm here, man.
Yeah, bro, big up for the last minute. Because what's mad about it is all of the people who were out who asked to be on the panel, which is why we didn't ask you in the first place. None of them are here. I was like, hold on, what's going on with all these dropouts? So it's like the outers are dropping like flies. But no, big up for coming in last week.
Because they got a little phone call, and it is what it is, Drift. It is what it is, baby.
But no, big up yourself, Mus. Nervy, what's going on, brother? Back again. Obviously, you was here last time as well. What you saying, bro?
I'm all right, guys. How you guys been?
Nah, bless, man. Bless. Pleasure to have you as always, bro. Rats in the building again. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Yeah, good, man. Last 24, 48 hours have been a bit tough for all of us. But yeah, overall not too bad. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Bless. And last but not least, the legend himself, Mr. Jamie. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. Looking forward to this.
Nah, me too. We will have one or two other people joining us a little bit later on. Matt should be jumping in as well if anyone is wondering where Matt is, and we should have one or two other people that will be jumping in as well. So this is how I'm gonna do it, guys. And if anyone didn't know, straight after this show, we've got the call-in show where all of you guys can come in and have your say as well. This is the panel version, then we've got the call-in version afterwards. So this is what we're gonna do, guys. I'm gonna put the FSG out, or the anti-FSG people in the background, for 10 minutes while I talk to the in. I'm going to go through some structure with them, see where they lie. Then I'm going to put them back, bring in the outers, go through a little structure with you guys. Then I'm going to bring you all together afterwards, and we're going to discuss everything that was said from both parts. So obviously the show will make sense as it goes along, people. The only rules I have today is nobody's being disrespectful in the comments, please, to anyone if you disagree with their views. And obviously amongst the panel, I know we're not going to disrespect each other either. But no, oh, he's some dickhead and all that. So we're not doing any of that today. But I can't see that happening anyway. Unless somebody says that they think Jay Henry should be in charge forever. All right. So basically, Cal, if you could remove yourself from what for a second, bro. I want to talk to the inner. There we have it. There we have it. All right, people. All right. So in this section, what I want to do, guys, is I want you guys to tell me individually. I'll go around. I'm going to go clockwork. So I'll start with Jamie. I want you to tell me just briefly, within a minute or two, what your idea of a good football owner is. So any point you make, I will write down because it's all going to go into my notes to add to a bit later on. So Jamie, the floor is yours at first. But what would you say is a good owner?
Right, a good owner. That's well, for me, a good owner should have the club as their main priority over everything else. So that's behind the scenes, everything. So making sure the club is well structured, making sure there's no debt for me. I don't like debt in the club. But yeah, a well-structured run club, as I think we are, transfers aside. I don't think we're a terribly run club. But yeah, that's me. Main thing is structure going forward, that there's a future with the club and it's self-sustaining.
Okay. You know what? Very good points. Very good points. Now I'll come to you next, bro. What would your definition of a good owner be?
Very similar to what Jamie said. Essentially, you want the club to obviously be debt-free and able to compete. Well, with regards to us anyway, like if it's a top club, compete with top clubs on the football pitch and also commercially. I'm not a real expert commercially, but on the pitch, as long as you're competing and you're up there with the others, although we have a different structure or different way of operating compared to, let's say, the Man United and the Chelseas and the Cities, as long as we're up there and competing and are obviously debt-free and run properly and able to produce young talent and also be able to acquire the right sort of talent as well. That'll be my main signs of a good owner.
Okay, cool. And Rack, what would you say yours is, bro? What would you say yours is?
Okay. I believe in the self-sustainable model. I don't want sugar daddy or oligarch funding the club. I think the club should be able to financially be able to stand on its own 2 feet. I want the owners to have minimal, ideally no moral or ethical issues, because I think that's important. It fits within the values of Liverpool Football Club, and I think that's important. Something we shouldn't lose sight of. Have a growth mindset in the sense that we should be forward-thinking and leading in all aspects of football. So both on the pitch, off the pitch, commercial. Take fan input into account. All those kind of issues. Be willing to listen, but at the same time, if you're a good, strong ownership group, you need to make the right decision for the club, regardless of what fans think, because you're the only people that really have all the information. And over time, I think fans will understand that if you can build that trust. And then finally, and most importantly, winning on the pitch. We got to build a team on the both on the field and off the field that is focused strongly on winning on the pitch.
Okay, I'm gonna, because I'm any point that anybody makes more than once, and I'm gonna put that as a major bullet point. So I'll put that under competitive to just make it easier. And the legend himself actually made it. Jamrock, what is going on, brother?
Man, I was sweating bullets. I was like, did I miss it?
No, bless, man, bless. I don't know if you heard the beginning part, but basically I'm going around and just getting everybody's take, just some bullet points on what they would consider a good owner, like just in general. So what would you consider a good owner in general, bro?
So a good owner in general for me, basically a club that's run on a self-sustaining model. And the reason why I say that is because you want to have some level of, not necessarily parity, but you want to have some level of competitive balance. So you have to have some level of structure and guardrails to keep that competitive balance. Because if it comes down to who has the most money, if a team like, say, a City or a PSG wanted to just say, you know what, there's no rules, we have the most money, we'll spend on every brilliant player up there, then there won't be any competitive balance, which is bad for football. It's kind of like what's going with the Bundesliga right now. So that's one of the first things. The second thing is hiring really talented people as part of the infrastructure of the problem. So hiring top level scouts, top level coaches, top level business minded people. And why do I say that? Because as much as people do not want to admit it, professional football has become a business over the last 20 years. We might not want to agree with it, but that is the reality. Player wages have gone sky high in terms of inflated player wages. Transfer fees have gone sky high. And as a result, football clubs have to look at alternative means of revenue to continue to support the club. So whether it's growing their commercial revenue, it's one. Increasing the capacity of the football stadium, which is one of the things that FFP wanted soccer clubs to do because they didn't want soccer clubs to spend, outside their means. So increasing your stadium capacity, investing in your youth academy, and basically not spending money that you don't have. So those are the three things. The final thing, which is, I guess, the moral aspect of it, is I don't want an owner with too much baggage.
Okay.
Some of that baggage ends up being on the fans if you have your owners that are involved in some, I guess it depends on where your morality is, shady activities outside. They might not be doing anything shady with the club per se, but the ownership group are in some shady activities. So that's one of the final things. And then last but not least, it shouldn't be, is the performance on the pitch.
Mm.
The performance on the pitch, I don't expect to win every year. I don't expect to win every 2 years. But I expect to be competitive and in a title race every year.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, before I get on to the next part now, I've got everyone's notes. Big up Job Moore for your super chat, bro. Bless. Been really looking forward to this show. Get FSG the F out of our club. They show no love or care for us whatsoever. Big up Kopish. Much love, guys. You'll never walk alone. Now, big up John. As always, and obviously, if there's any super chats that anybody wants to touch on or whatever, that we can touch on them as well. All right, so guys, now that I've gone round, this is basically but I mean, bear with me because obviously I didn't write down everything. I'm not going to be that that extra, but the main bullet points that I got from what everybody says was the club is their priority. The club is well structured with no debt. Everybody said that they actually like a self-sustaining model. Everybody said they want the team to be competitive on and off the field. A good academy, to not be a sugar daddy that just pumps money in all the time. For them to listen to the fan base and build up trust. To hire the right people to do top-level work, including scouts, coaches, business people for the finance side and everything. And to have no baggage within themselves that can bring down the name of the club itself. That's the main bullet points that I took from that. Big up Rames for your super chat, bro. Lads are talking about moral billionaires. I'm not gonna have an opinion on that one, but I know what you mean, bro. All right, now guys, based on what I have here, I'm gonna ask each of you individually one of these things randomly. And I just want you to tell me whether you believe FSG have this and why. So I will start with, let me start with Jamrock.
Okay.
I want to give you listen to the fans and build trust, bro. Before I get into that, Mr. Dara said, just big up yourself as always, bro. How are Palace spending more than us, Jamrock? I'll save that one for Jamrock afterwards. Palace question. All right, so Jamrock, yeah. So listening to the fans and building trust. In terms of FSG, how much would you say they have been exactly that? Or even if you think
to be frank, they've been. That's one of the things I think they've been horrible at, and I think I know.
Can I just like, sorry, Jam, just because I made that point, and the before that the point was that I think that clubs should potentially listen to fans, but a well-run club and well-structured leadership have got to do what they think is best, and through their correct decision making, fans will build trust with that. Trust will come over time.
That's two different things.
Obviously, I know. Obviously, I know it was a longer thing, but
that's two different. That's two different things, though, because
no, but I actually agree. The reason why I made that point, and even though what Rack's saying is like a much broader way to put it, and it is true. The reason why I bullet pointed that is because I feel like no matter what it is, and no matter how you do it, you should build trust. It doesn't matter what level of anything is, you should build trust. Even when you give birth to a child, you should then be a parent in a way that that child knows it can trust you, that you're making the right decisions as his parent. So even on a basic level of life, you have to build trust no matter what the situation. So I think that's a good point, even though, Rack, I know you had there was more to it than that, but I still think building trust.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify,
Yeah, cool. So so as you were saying, Jamrock.
Yeah, I think they've done a horrible job of not being as transparent as they can be in certain communications with fans. And as a result, when you're not as transparent with certain communication with the fans, then the fans can then project what they think is going on onto the club because they're not transparent. So I think they've done a horrible job. No one expects FSG or Liverpool to tell you everything that's going on, but you still need to have some level of dialogue with the fans to get a beat in what the fans think about some of the decisions that you've made. But from a PR perspective, the fans also feel included. They don't feel like they're just being taken advantage of to buy tickets and buy kits and stuff like that. So I think from that perspective, in my opinion, they've failed because in essence, John Henry and Tom Werner have been absentee owners to a certain extent. They've kind of farmed out, most of the stuff to Klopp as the mouthpiece for Liverpool. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Billy Hogan speak. Sure, he has, but I don't think I've ever seen him speak. I've seen John Henry speak every now and then. But then it kind of comes down to, your personality, because John Henry doesn't speak that much about the Red Sox either. So it really kind of depends on your personality. John Henry seems to be a very reclusive, doesn't like to be in the spotlight kind of person. And if that's his personality, I'm not going to try and force someone to be something that they're not. But as far as the question, I do believe they've done a horrible job in terms of communicating with the fans. And as a result, you lose trust with the fans when certain decisions don't go how fans believe they should go.
Okay, fair enough. So I've made a note. Of that one, bro. All right, so I'll come to Jamie next. Jamie, in terms of what it was put, I'll give you well structured, no debt. In terms of FSG, how would you say they fit into that, bro?
I think we are a well-structured club. I mean, they don't like having a lot of debt around their club, as far as I can see. But what thing with FSG, I'm sort of on the fence. I'm on the fence at the moment. They have structured the club right in a way, as I say, there's no debt. They're signing up people and getting all contracts sorted and all stuff like that. But the structure of the club needs to come more from them speaking, in my opinion, as well.
Can you clarify what he means by that?
10 years at the club, I still don't know who John Henry is. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
The Leicester owner, I mean, he took over his father. I sort of know more about him over a 12-month period than I know about John Henry over a 10-year period.
Mm.
So I'm not saying I don't like FSG. I'm not saying I'm FSG out or whatever thing like that. But I think FSG they need somebody, a voice between them and us, and it shouldn't be our manager.
Yes.
You're putting him in the wrong position.
Yes.
So is that kind of like not the only thing, but like one of the main points you would say is the only thing stopping them from being well structured within how they run their business? Because I mean, on the business side of things, how do you think they are structurally business wise? Because let's forget about the football for a minute. Off the field, are you happy with what FSG are doing?
Well, business wise, they look like they're making lots of money. You know, we're in the black. I mean, they're making lots of money. So business wise, as a business, they seem to be doing that side well. But for the fans, we don't really know John Henry at all. We need someone who can. I saw it with Aston Villa when they let Grealish go. Yeah, is it Christian Purslow?
Yeah.
He spoke to the fans and spoke so well that the Villa fans understood everything.
Yeah, bear in mind, you know, Christian Purslow used to be our.
I like Christian Purslow.
Yeah.
I liked Christian Purslow, and I think we just need someone like that because I think the fans they don't know nothing about them, and I don't know nothing about them after 10 years being here. So
okay.
Personally,
So, I mean, I mean, I've made a note of that one.
Hey, Jamie, Drifty, can I say something?
Yeah, go on, bro.
In regards to FSG and Liverpool making money, yes, they have done a fantastic job of slowly growing the hole that they were in terms of the disparity between them and, say, Manchester United in terms of growing revenues and stuff like that. But obviously, over the last 2 seasons, they've took massive losses, and I believe it's projected by experts that they're going to have $130 million, or not dollars, but sterling, in loss. Sterling.
Yeah, something like that. You can straight away take out all the ticket revenue from Anfield, which is about £80 million a season, just that alone.
Yeah. So you still there, Jam? We got a little bit of a bad connection. You still there, bro?
It's ticket sales as well as just
rebates on broadcasting.
Yeah, rebates on broadcasting, gate receipts, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw some of the commercial revenue deals actually expired.
Mm.
So that's what
I've added to the well structured. They closed the gap originally, but now they're letting the gap open back up again.
No, it's not fully closed. They're still about 140 million or 150 million behind Manchester United in terms of.
No, but I mean, but as you said, though, bro, they did massively close the gap in comparison to when they took over.
They're closing. Yeah, they're closing it. I think I mentioned to you before, but the last 20 to 25 years, Manchester United have made roughly about $2 billion more in revenues.
Okay, $2 billion over the 10-year period. Yeah?
No, not 10. Over the last 20.
Oh, okay.
Still, that's £100 million a season. So so it's significant.
I'll put that down. I'll come to you next, brother. Hire the right people from any level of the club. I give that one to you. What would you say FSG have done in that regard?
So what we know is that FSG are a data analytic orientated group. So they like to make decisions from data, and they were one of the actually first people to try and use data in hiring, in scouting, in player recruitment, which is excellent, because that's where everything is going now. So with data analytics, you have a way to or should I say those people that deal with data analysis, where they compile so much data and then break it down into what type of players that can be recruited, and then they go to the subject matter experts and seek further insight into who they should target. And so one of the best things that they've done is find these little gems where other clubs were probably overlooking them for higher, bigger names. And Liverpool have produced players like Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, Jordan Henderson, and so forth, so on and so forth. Yeah, Matip. All of these players have come in through the power of information or looking at data and collecting it and sifting through it, and then scouting, sending scouts over, competent scouts. Because I know they've taken some from Man City. They've taken like they hire the best people, so they do their homework. They hire the best people with regards to recruitment. They've hired, what's his name, Edwards, is it? Who was coming from was he a physics or a physics background in order to lead?
Yeah, there's rocket scientists, there's astrophysicists. There's one of the guys who worked at CERN. Like, these are some of the smartest people, not just in football, but in the world of high level maths and physics. And that's given us probably the best analytics team in the world, at least at this stage.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're up on a lot of teams, right? With regards to player recruitment and the future, I believe it looks bright for Liverpool. And one of the best things is, like as Rack said earlier, although you should take into account what fans think, but ultimately your analysis, or you've got the information, we don't. You have the background knowledge of, like, because I know Liverpool, they don't go for the best players or the best data driven player, but they also look into the personality of the player. Does he fit the ethos of the group that they have? Does he fit? Is not too big headed. He won't cause issues in the changing room, stuff like that. So Liverpool do a lot of homework, and so when they don't go for a player, or they don't, as we did, not sign anyone apart from Konate, there's probably a really good reason for it.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. And last but not least, because obviously I'm going to bring everyone back in again, so obviously we'll get to chop this up, in more detail afterwards. I've got to bring the outers in, but just quickly, right? I'll give you competitive on and off the field in terms of FSG. What would you say they come in that category?
Yeah, can I just say quickly? There's a guy called Bailey McGregor in the chat who keeps having pops at everybody. You have the opportunity. Come on afterwards. There's going to be a call in afterwards. Come on, we've got something to say, and let's say it. There's guys saying that I should keep smiling. I'm going to keep smiling. All right, look, in terms of competitive advantage or competitiveness in general, FSG, it took time for them. They made mistakes along the way, and I think 13-14 was more of an anomaly than something. But I think that you slowly but surely saw them putting the right people and the right structure in place. They brought in Michael Edwards. They brought in the analytics team, Michael Edwards rather brought in the analytics team. Michael Edwards also brought in Barry Hunter and Dave Fallows from Man City, who are chief scout and head of recruitment. On the commercial side, they've brought in a number of people to help grow the football club in general. Matt Scannell's just come in the last year from Man United. And all of that is with a view to us growing the club, but most importantly, making us competitive on the pitch. And the last major piece of the puzzle, there's obviously been tweaks along the way, was Jurgen Klopp. They brought in Jurgen Klopp. And since Jurgen's come in, every year we've grown and we've become more and more competitive. And the only season we've really taken a step back was last season. Now, some people will say the excuses are just excuses and we should stop mentioning them. I think those excuses were significant. Last season was a failure because I expected us to win the league or win the Champions League or both, and that didn't happen. So from that perspective, we didn't achieve what we set out to. But when you factor in the mitigating circumstances, the fact that in the last, we were top of the league midway through. We went on a 10, 11, 12 game run where we had absolutely disastrous results and our team looked shadowed former self. And then we won 8 out of 10 games in the last 8 out of the last 10 games. So no, we haven't, if you include this season, we haven't lost in the last 13 games or something like that. We are competitive. I think we can win the league this season. Anyway, we can talk about this in win and stuff, but I still believe in this team. I still believe in Jurgen, and I think we have a good chance.
Okay.
Hey, Rack.
Yep.
Let me ask a question.
What's up, Jammer?
Do you think that they were somewhat of a failure in terms of making missteps their first 3 years at the club, FSG? Because I think some of the decisions that they made set them back.
Of course. I mean, look, I think they perhaps took some of the wrong advice. Damian Kamoli, I think the intention was right. He probably wasn't the right guy, but he brought in Michael Edwards from Spurs, so it was the right idea, but the wrong person. Inevitably, they brought in Michael Edwards, and that's turned out to be right. Other mistakes. Look, Kenny obviously came in as manager, and almost. It was a mistake. The thing is, Kenny's a club legend. When he started doing good on the pitch, inevitably fans were clamouring for him to get the job. But that was a deviation from the model and the structure that they initially had in place. Once they and you could argue they made that same mistake with Brendan, because Brendan didn't want to work under a director of football. Finally, when they got the right man and the Klopp, who also is happy to work under a director of football, things came together. Everyone, the whole team, the whole club was moving in the same direction.
No, but you lot made some brilliant points. Don't get me wrong. The reason I wanted to give the FSG in, so to speak, crowd a little bit longer is because we've got to hear the side that not many people ever defend, and that was why I wanted to give you guys like a little bit extra. And what you lot are saying is good. I know everybody wants to kind of vent, which is why we got the call show afterwards, guys. But I wanted to make sure this was structured well, and you guys have like articulated yourself well, and I like it. Obviously, I'm going to bring you guys back in about 10 minutes, so stay in the back. I'm going to bring the outers in now, and then we'll chop it up, and then we'll bring you lot back on in about 10 minutes, guys. So Cal, if you could remove the inners and bring yourselves in, please, bro. While you're doing that, Rack in the building, big up yourself. Rack says hi, Drifty. Much appreciated, my brother, for that generous super chat. Thank you, bro. So. Here we go. Well, don't tell me they've all left you by. Must have said that like, what, on my own out here. What's going on? What's going on? We've got a new outer right here as well. Don, what's happening, bro? Welcome to the show, man. Big up yourself.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, big up for coming on last minute as well, bro. I know, obviously, Rat gave you a last minute shout. Big up for that, man.
Congrats on the 1K as well, man, by the way. Congrats, you just on the 1K subscribers, man. Big yourself up.
Yeah. All right, make sure you go over there and subscribe right now. In fact, we'll do all that at the end. I'm going to make sure they come for you, bro. Make sure. The guy in the middle with a hat on, you look familiar, but I don't know why. What's going on, bro?
I'm good. I'm blessed. What can I say? Listen, I didn't even want to really, because everyone knows I'm FSG up. I wanted other people to speak on it, but I can see the panel could potentially be bigger. So
no. I'm making an executive decision. Survivor Series mode. I'm dashing you in, bro. I tagged you in.
So I'm in. Now I was gonna say I'm in anyway. So that's calm.
Yeah.
Calm.
A Kopa, big up yourself, bro. Giving all the Klopp's credit to FSG. Where were they before Klopp? It's like Kroenke under Wenger. Okay, I'm gonna make a note of that one.
You got that before me.
I'm going to make a note of that one. All right, boys, I'm going to do the same. Obviously, I'm going to speed this one up a little bit more, and then we'll get everyone in and we'll do a discussion. Because FSG out, we've been talking about out for a minute, right? So I know most people already know what you guys think on this. But just quickly, I'll start with Don as the debuter. Bro, what I'm doing is I'm asking everybody to tell me what they think is a bad owner in this section. The FSG in was telling me a good owner. I want you guys to tell me what you lot think is a bad. Don't even think about FSG for this one. Just what do you think a bad owner is? So I'll start with Dom and then I'll go around. So starting with you, Dom. What would you say is a bad owner of a football club, bro?
I think a bad owner of a football club is an owner that doesn't spend enough money. I think a bad owner of a football club is an owner who doesn't show up at enough games. Like John Henry, I don't even remember the last time. I think it was January 2020, the last time that he was actually at a game. So I think that's a problem. A bad owner is an owner that does not understand football, that is not interested in football whatsoever. A bad owner is an owner that sees the football club he buys as a business and not as an actual football team with history and everything that surrounds it. And it's I just feel like as it's hard to not link it to FSG, but I just feel like these things, unfortunately, like that's just what they do. Like right now, I think that the main issue is for me, there is literally clubs in the championship that have spent more money than us. So I don't think that's good enough whatsoever. Getting to the top of the hill is one thing. We've already climbed Mount Everest. Let's go and climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Let's just go keep climbing mountain after mountain after mountain. And for that, how did Alex Ferguson ruin our childhood? By just signing a world-class player once every 2 years, etc., refreshing the team, which I don't think has happened. So that's the big issue. You could reach the top. Leicester reached the top. Blackburn reached the top. So many teams have won the league just like a one-off, like Valencia as well in La Liga, like Lille this season, like Bordeaux in the French league 10 years ago. But sustainability of success is the thing that counts to me, and I don't think our success is as sustainable. And the fact that our squad has gotten weaker this transfer window, and we're actually, like, some people still think we're gonna win the league is crazy to me. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on the situation.
Like, bro, well said. Well said. Guys, yes, I am a neutral today, guys. You lot already know how I feel, but I'm trying my hardest to be professional. I'm showing you professional Drifty today. I don't know if you lot have ever seen this side of me, but I'm trying my best. BT.
We're swapping roles today.
I know we are. Versatility, baby. All right. Matt, I'll come to you next, bro. What would you say are bad football owners? And obviously, if there's anything that Don said that you agree with, you don't need to put on it because I've already got it down. So, basically, yes. So just to make it easier, if there's something Don never said that you think, so let's build up because I've already got those points.
Yeah.
So what would you add to that, bro?
But I also want to pile on as well because this is an FSG out.
No, but we'll get that for the discussion.
No, 100%. But I just want to say this though: a bad owner is someone who takes over a football club and doesn't understand what they're getting themselves into. A bad owner is someone who's not even understanding the foundations of a club. A bad owner is also not realizing what it needs to be successful. A bad owner is also an owner that take people for granted, us as fans. A bad owner is also someone that can sit there, lie to your face, and make promises and know that they're never going to make them. So quite simply, it's this: a bad owner is someone who doesn't understand what they're getting themselves into, and then when they actually do, they're still trying not to fix the situation. They would rather keep doing what they're doing and not try any harder because they feel if it's making them successful, they don't really care. And a bad owner for me is an owner that doesn't care about fans, and fans are what's most important. When you are an owner, you need to make sure you appease the fans as well as your staff.
Boom. Mic drop. I like that. Cal, if there's anything you want to add to that, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. All right. So for me, what constitutes a bad owner, and what I will say before I really get into it, is there are different levels of bad owners. So what I don't want, with all due respect, I say this, by the way, what I don't want to hear is me say these are what bad owners are, and other people say, well, look at Mike Ashley, look at Barcelona's, because they're bottom of the barrel. I'm not saying they're bottom of the barrel, but I'm saying they're bad owners. So for me, the whole narrative of let's not criticize these lot because there's worse out there is like me saying I'm not going to criticize my wife who cheats on me every day because there's a woman out there who cheats on their partner twice a day. So I'll just clear that up from now. For me, the reason why I think they're bad owners.
No, just in general, but what in general?
What I think bad owners are. Owners who don't support the club when they need it the most. Owners who don't understand the ethos, ethics, and morality of the club. Owners that take the club and its fans for granted. Owners who don't strengthen from a position of power. Owners who do not back the people in the club that they brought in, but some of the greatest minds that we have right now, owners, also, for example, owners who don't back great and creative minds when they have them, and also owners who are barely recognized by the fans because they are barely around.
Okay. And once, is there anything you want to add that anyone hasn't already said, bro?
Well, you guys are kind of taking everything out there already. I mean, yeah, I'd say a bad owner to me, especially as someone who has a distinct disconnect with the fans. So not even just maybe more being very independent, but just when you consent to disconnect between owner and fan base, and even when I see like a lack of connect with, as Callum said, like the fans, the manager. And, you know, when I see little disconnects there, I think that's the start of what breeds into more disconnect and more disarray that can really drag down the club. And once the mood falls in a club, which bad is, I think how owners react to that is what can make a good owner. And I feel like whenever we have plummeted, because again, everything's always really rosy when you're winning. And that's what I feel like we're very blind to. We were winning for a while. So when we were winning, people weren't really, the lens was a bit, you know, it was a bit clogged up. So now that we're not winning and we can see cracks, it's all about how people deal with it. And I don't want to refer too hard to FSG, but a bad owner doesn't deal with it. In fact, they don't just not deal with it, they just ignore it. And that's what I feel like a bad owner. Well, on top of what everyone else has said, that's, I think, is a big trait of a bad owner.
Facts.
Okay. Big up Sammy for your super chat. Bless you, bro. Very generous. There needs to be the right balance between sustaining success and being well run. With FSG, the balance is heavily tilted towards the latter and very little interest in fan concern or sustaining success on the pitch. Promo, big up yourself as always, bro. A bad owner is one who divides the fan base. I'm going to write that down, actually.
Sorry to cut you, Jim. Also, shout out to Rack AMK as always, who donated a £45 super chat as well. Thank you very much. And if we've missed any super chats, people,
yeah, I gave Rack a big up already, but he deserves 2 big ups anyway. So
please, if I've missed any super chat or Drift has missed any, drop me a DM on Twitter and we'll get that read out either today or tomorrow.
All right, guys. So just quickly, and again, apologies, you lot don't get as much time as the Inners did, but obviously it's because I want to make sure that, because everybody knows out, and I'm sure a lot of people feel, I wanted to give the In people a little bit more time to speak. Ramez here with another super chat. Big up yourself, bro. A bad owner's rigid in their way and don't react to challenges and opportunities when they arise, and would never take on risks, however small, for the club's sake. Yep, don't take risks. I'm gonna add that actually. Scared money don't make money.
Facts. Big facts.
It's true.
So I'm trying to stay neutral.
Scared money don't make money.
No, big up yourself. But all right, so guys, just quickly before I bring the panel in, just briefly within like 30 seconds to a minute max, guys. I'm gonna start with Don again. I'm gonna give you. What am I gonna give you? Take fans for granted. I think this is one you'll enjoy. With relation to FSG, do they come into this category, and if so, why, bro?
Yeah, they do come into this category. I think the one thing that can prove this entire like part of them being bad owners is the Super League. It's crystal clear to see. If they actually took the fans seriously, they would have never ever even been a part of that. Liverpool Football Club has a massive history in the Champions League. Like we know, like champions of Europe 6 times and stuff. So I think like that just took the piss out of the fans. And when they tried to raise the ticket prices as well to £77. And by the way, that was the horrible Liverpool, not the good one, where we had like the Milner being the star of the team and stuff. So like those were bad times. So like definitely they do fall into this category 100%. I don't think they give 2 shits about the fans, to be honest.
Well said, bro. Well said. I'll go to Monts this time. I'll go anti-clockwise. Monts, I will give you don't strengthen while on top. Is this something you think FSG fall into, and if so, why, bro?
Yeah, I think FSG 100% go into fall into that category simply because we weren't just on top for 1 year. We was on top for 2 years. We won the Champions League, then we won the Premier League. If you look in between the gap of winning the Champions League and the Premier League, we signed Sepp van den Berg and then Minamino in January. We didn't go and sign Lukaku. We didn't drop 100. We didn't drop the mic, drop 100 M's, and then say, yeah, now we're gonna go on to win the league. People still didn't think we was gonna win the league after we went and got the champs. They did not build on it. They looked at the squad, and again, this is why I feel like they take the piss up. My language. They take the piss out of Jurgen Klopp. They do, because just because we have a genius running players that he can turn from, water to wine. I don't know if that could be the reason, but that's what he's had to work miracles to go and get us that league under a circumstance of minor injuries. Hate it or believe it, that's what it is. So I think, yes, FSG are definitely go into that category of not strengthening when on top, because we didn't really strengthen after we won the league. Like I said, we got Jota and Thiago, but I feel like FSG have strengthened. They've wanted to strengthen financially. They look at the other 4 clubs, the other 4 giants. I'm not going to include Arsenal and Tottenham. They look at the other 4 giants financially, and that we're leveling them financially, but they're not looking at the league table, the fans, and everything else domestically in football in terms of finishing and being a power club football-wise. And that's not good enough for me. It's just not good enough. So
facts. And don't forget, we signed Adrian as well still.
The only team to sign and pay for.
All right, Cal, we're going anti-clockwise, bro. I'm going to give you, as a part of the family, actually, is there anything you want? What do you want out of all the things?
Anything.
I know Cal's got the smoke today.
Yeah, I've just got a load of stuff I want to rebuttal, to be honest. So, yeah, that's what I'm really waiting on.
All right. I will give you false promises. Do FSG fall into
do you know what? I'm probably going to go a little bit of cuff here. I don't know whether they give us false promises or not, because they rarely come out and actually say anything. I mean, the biggest false promise was sort of after the Champions League when Henry came out and said, we're going to be competitive. We're going to give Klopp whatever he wants to go and win, or try and give him whatever he wants to go and win the league. I think we won that league in spite of FSG as opposed to because of FSG. And I use this as an example. Pep Guardiola is heralded as one of the most revolutionary managers in world football. Mancini, Pellegrini both won leagues at Manchester City before Pep Guardiola did. He didn't do anything different than what other managers have done there. Since Alex Ferguson's left Manchester United, they haven't won a league. Chelsea, once again, have won league titles with most of their managers pretty much since Roman's been there. Since he's been there. Or a good amount, should I say. Without Klopp, I think we're sitting mid-table to 4th place. If we get 4th, we're lucky. There is nothing to me that suggests that FSG would have taken us over that threshold were it not for Klopp and were it not for selling Coutinho, which again wasn't on them. Coutinho wanted to leave. In terms of false promises, for me, it's more the apologies and then the saying we're going to change this and we're listening to you. Because if you're listening to us, then you're not hearing us. Because what we want is a club that competes every season. We're not sitting here saying that we want Mbappe and Haaland every year. Some fans do, but the majority of rational fans don't think like that, especially Liverpool fans. I think we're very, very methodical in our thinking as a fan base. But what we don't also want is to be getting Adrian renewals and then people saying, well, we haven't got space in the squad for homegrown players. I just genuinely think they continue to say, it's not even necessarily say, it's their actions. They promise certain things and then they don't deliver with their actions. And this is another summer.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to put down. Yeah. No. Okay. Cool. Sorry, hold on a minute. Actually, do me a favor. Quickly just jump back into your normal role, Cal, and do some of those super chats for me, please, bro, while I just make a note.
So Abby Shiek says, Tottenham were in a similar situation during the Poch era with owners failing to push on and go the extra mile for success. Facts. Zota says, we may not think FSG think about the fans, but don't forget they have been running sports teams for years before Liverpool. They consider fans. Look at the Red Sox. I'm not going to rebuttal that. I disagree, but I'm just going to read out the comments for now. That should be us up to date, Drift. I believe.
Okay. And last but not least, big up everyone in the chat.
Sorry, no. Edward, under Klopp and Edwards, we wait for first choice targets and take risks as a result of not compromising in favor for waiting. They wait and they take risks. It's pattern, but it's how they build. Well, I know I said I wasn't going to rebuttal, but we do usually have second and third choices, a la Jota, for example, when we didn't get Werner, a la Salah when we didn't get Brandt, Mane when we didn't get Goetze. So if we don't get a player, it's not because there aren't second and third choices, in my opinion. It's because there's not the facilities to actually bring those players in for whatever reason. M says, finishing FSG out. Back to you, Drift.
Last but not least, Matt, before we bring the others in, this one's a nice one. I know you're gonna find this tasty. What makes a bad owner? When they don't spend enough. Do FSG come in?
Bro,
do FSG come under that bracket?
All right, so I'm gonna all right. So when Cal was speaking about, Mbappe's and Haaland's, yeah. Again, we'll stress we're quite normal in our thinking, and that goes back from the days of David Moores and Rick Parry era. Yeah, we're quite normal.
Really sorry to cut you, Matt. Guys who are mods, can I just ask, if you're a mod, just because someone may disagree with something that we say or someone else is saying, please don't mute or ban them or block them or put them in a timeout. We only do that if someone is being abusive. If they disagree, that is fine. Like, we are an open forum here. Like, I just want to stress that we're an open forum. Do not block or time out people for having a difference of opinion. Only if they're abusive.
Yeah. Only if they're abusive.
Yeah,
bro.
agreed.
Look for keywords like
the N-word that we got last night 100 times.
Anything abusive. If they're not being abusive, they can disagree all they want, guys. All they want, they can disagree. As long as you're not being abusive, you know what I mean? And if people target someone constantly, we may be like, bro, calm down. That's bullying. We don't like that either. Do you know what I'm saying?
Facts,
so yeah, Matt. Yeah,
go ahead.
So going back to the whole thing of like Haaland and Mbappe, we don't ask for that every summer or every winter. What we are asking for is our owners, though, to dig deeper in their pockets. The reason why I said they don't spend enough, Drift, is because this whole thing about net spend, whether you want to believe it or not, I can tell you this is just how it is. If you sell a player and then you're covering it by you buy a player and you're covering it by selling, it means you're always going to balance. You're never going to go out of your own pocket because you sold something and you've gone to buy it. It's like when I was talking about with FSG, how for us to get the new PS5 game, what they would do is they will sell with their PS4 game to get that PS5 game. But one thing we haven't done, and we haven't done for a while, is just go out and buy that PS5 game. A lot of our restructuring from a financial sense from the transfer market has happened since Philippe Coutinho. That was kind of like the starting point where they had a lot of money that came in and allowed us to, it freed up a lot of things for us to do. Since that Coutinho deal has happened, deals have still gone on, but let's be real, people. Have they really gone out and spent the money that you would perceive to be available for us to actually dominate at the top? Because in my opinion, they haven't. We're looking at a situation now where we've just had a summer go by, and how many people have left the club, and we've just brought in Konate. Now, some people might say, oh, well, that's more than enough. But let's be realistic, it's not. Because even if you want to go player for player, we still lost Wijnaldum and we still lost Shaqiri. And even if you want to try and say, oh, but what about Harvey Elliott? But Harvey Elliott shouldn't be the be-all and end-all to save the season. Harvey Elliott shouldn't be that player. Harvey Elliott is someone who you nurture in. And that's because we haven't spent that money. So now we have to fast-track him. And again, some people you could even arguably say we're fast-tracking Curtis Jones because we haven't had the money to go out and get a replacement of value. And it's like this in life, people. If you buy something of value, you know what you're going to get from it. Yeah. So if you buy something cheap, it might work for you, but it's going to work for a certain amount of time. Whereas you buy something more expensive, more likely than not, it's going to last. What the problem is with FSG is this sell to buy, in my opinion, has worked to get us up to a certain point. But now we want to stay here. We want to stay here. For us to stay there, you have to invest with your own money. There's a reason why even the Glazers, who are obviously in debt, Chelsea, who obviously have got an owner who just wants to stay at the top, and because he loves the club, and Man City. They are spending money because they want to stay at the top. I'm not saying we have to compete with them every single window, like 100, 200 M's. But what I am saying, put your hand in your pocket every once in a while if you can see the manager is struggling and there's gaping holes.
Nah, well said, bro. Cal, can you do me a favor and just get through the rest of those super chats, bro?
Hold on. I've got one for you still.
Yeah, nice one. Sorry, I just missed that last one though, Matt.
Oh, let me go back to it. Hold on. I got it.
No, there's the one before that.
One before that? Cool.
Yeah.
This one?
No, before that.
This one?
Yeah, there we go.
Cool.
Tahir says, under FSG, we're letting our rivals get stronger. Old School Tunes 80 says, FSG, Americans see everything as a franchise. We know to really understand this, watch The Last Dance on Netflix, see how the Bulls didn't want to re-sign players such as Jordan and Scotty, franchise FSG out. Aldrin says, our transfer window is such a shambles. We can't even register a full squad after Ojo went. I would lose my job if I'd made such a mess of my role. We can actually name a full squad. It's just not a full squad I think we'd have to name 4 goalkeepers, but we'd have to. We could name a full squad effectively.
Where's my FSG pack, man? Give me a second.
Rack AMK says, if you don't have the money to buy the club from them, they will do whatever they want. So somebody must be as rich as the Chelsea and City owners to come in and buy the club from them, and he doesn't care about the money. He wants to win.
And there's one more. There's one more. Old School Tunes 80s.
No, I did that one.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I missed that.
Bang on the money. That point Rat made about they have to come in and not care about how much money they spend, but care about winning. That right there, for me, is just a nutshell of what I believe makes a good owner. I know there's a lot more to it, but in a nutshell, that is it. All right, guys. So we may run over a little bit here, but I think this is going to be the fun part. Cal, if you could bring back in the FSG in people, and we're going to chop this up as a group now.
Yeah, man.
I think everyone's in, right?
Everyone's in.
Yeah, everyone's in.
Yeah, got that FSG pack.
Now, guys.
Sorry,
I don't want this to be
said Chelsea game showed us how weak our bench is. Agreed again.
Now, guys, for about 10-15 minutes here, we're going to chop up what each other has said and debate what we're doing. I don't want this to be a free-for-all, but I also don't want it to be fully structured, because I've made the show structured to this point. Now I kind of feel a little bit like I just want to let the dog off the leash, so to speak. So if there's anyone who actually, I'm going to start with Don, because the hand rubbing the Birdman, I like that. Now, Don, was there anything that the FSG in people said you had a problem with? And what is it that you would like them to kind of explain about why they think that way?
There's one thing I've been holding on the entire time that I need to speak on, and that's the morality argument. Because the morality argument, making it for a billionaire, is the biggest load of shit anyone can ever say in their entire life. Like, with all due respect to any FSG in person. There's been links from FSG to certain people that aren't running Drake concerts in that part of the world. You know exactly what they're doing. So let's not act like, one shit stinks and one shit doesn't stink. Let's just say it as it is. There's been links from our club owners to disasters in certain areas, which we're not going to speak because that's way too political, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't actually. So could you at least elaborate on one or two?
A Jamrock. The only reason why he can't is because it could actually flag up in YouTube and could cause a whole major.
Yeah, it's got to be careful.
Definitely don't do that.
That's funny.
Yeah. That might be something where we
offline.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately.
But there's two situations, not just one. And so basically, what I'm trying to say is, John Henry did not become a millionaire by waking up, reading the Bible, going to church, and became a millionaire, just through like raining money from the sky. He became a billionaire. Every single billionaire has ruined someone's life throughout their existence to become a billionaire. Every single billionaire is like, there is not one single moral, ethical billionaire. The things that these people do, we don't know if they're like friends with the president of that country and fund certain things. So these are the intricate details we don't know. But what I know for sure is not one billionaire on the planet is moral. So the difference is we can get two immoral billionaires. One immoral billionaire spends 200 million and gets us everything we want, and the other guy spends less than Brentford and Crystal Palace and Sheffield United. So I know which one I'm going for. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Can I just add to that? Sorry, Jamrock. Sorry to cut you, bro.
Yeah,
Can I just add to that? So I slightly disagreed on. I don't think every billionaire should be labeled as being immoral, but I get where you're coming from. What I want to say for the morality thing, I've got a couple of points here. And I know this may get us in trouble. So Matt Drifty, massive apologies if it does down the road, but I'm going to say it because I think it needs to be said. We've spoken about morality in FSG. Do you guys have a problem with us being sponsored by Nike?
I actually do.
Okay, so they brought in Nike, didn't they? So
I've not bought any Nike.
No. I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying they. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm above morality. I've got Nike trainers on my feet right now.
They don't have a direct. Go on. All right, go on.
No. I'll come to you. Right? I get where you're coming from, but I'm saying we brought in Nike, right? So FSG brokered the deal for Nike. We all know about Nike's history. So morality, let's talk about trademarking, trying to trademark the word Liverpool. That's, to me, it's not moral at all. That's about as immoral as it gets as well. Furlough, I think that's immoral considering who we are as an establishment. I think that's immoral as well. Ticket prices for £77 when we were languishing in mid-table. For me, that's immoral as well. The Super League, that's immoral as well. AXA, they are the ones who fund our training ground.
Hold on, Kel. Let me write that down.
I'm going to quickly land and then I'll pass it over.
Be careful what you say. Don't I
want to write down what you were saying.
So literally, I get what you're saying. You don't want someone who's going to come in and be outlandish or crazy. But what I don't like is a narrative that FSG are the most moral owners we can get when I've just reeled off a list that shows they're not as moral as they say they are, or as people make out to be.
Prices.
And I will say this, because someone will turn around and say, well, the trademark didn't happen, furlough didn't happen, the tickets got turned around, and the Super League got turned around. But I'm going to throw it like this. If I go out to try and run someone over, but I don't hit them, does that make me morally better person because I didn't carry out the act, even though I attempted to?
Fact.
That's a false equivalence.
Before you go, let me get this super chat out of the way. But before you jump in, big up Aaron for your super chat. Great debate, guys. I'm Fenway in, but I'm not happy we didn't sign a forward. How much slack do Fenway get for giving current stars? All right, I'm going to take a note of that. Big up, bro.
Yeah, drift.
Yeah.
Just quickly, sorry, because Monster's got to go soon. I just want Monster to go next because he's got to go in a bit, innit? And then obviously we'll continue because Monster's got to go in.
Big up. Remember your point, Rap. Remember your point, yeah, bro, because I'll come straight back to you. Go on, Monster. What was your point, bro?
Well, my issue is with FSG, and I just want to ask, it's more kind of just a few questions. So it's like, do you think in the long run FSG are sustainable for the club? Question one. Yeah. And if so, why? And if you look at, just based on transfer policies and this strict hold on net spend, there's a clear history that, if we're just talking in regards to sales of players, buying players and selling players, yeah, we have a great net spend, but it's not. I personally don't think I think it's not sustainable simply because our rivals are strengthening faster than us because we want to be sustainable. Do you know what I mean? If you look at Abramovich and you look at and I don't want to use the Glazers because the Glazers aren't good owners either. But like similar to what Don said, these guys are throwing money at the club because they know. I'm not saying they know the ins and outs of football, but they're aware of what the club needs and able to function and compete with other football teams of this same ilk. And it's not like FSG have taken over a mid-table club, even though we weren't in the best place when they took over. But Liverpool are the second, if not the biggest club in the country. So if you are not competing with the other owners because you're thinking of our club so much as an institution, how the hell is that going to be sustainable in the future when we are on top? And we've had examples of being on the top, and we've also shown that we do not strengthen while being on top. I'm not saying it's all about just spend your money on players and we'll be happy, because there's a lot more than that on the stuff that Callum covered. There's a lot more stuff that goes into it. But until we start spending money and until we start you know, showing that we are a superpower club like we are, then I think we can talk. We don't really need to hear about morals, about the so-called good morals that people are trying to throw at us. I'm not going to hear about morals if we're whining like we're broke. It doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? I hate to put, like, I hate, you know, how I talk my analogies. It's like everyone else is getting their shiny PS5s and we get our Lynx Africas and we're getting like pencil cases and that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
What do you want to respond to that?
I think, I think Rack wanted to say
Rack.
something.
Hold that thought, Jammer. Hold that thought. I'm gonna come to Rack there, because Rack wanted to run it down, bro.
The whole morality argument is often diluted a little bit because people use examples which are frivolous and don't really make that much sense. Because just because there may be two groups, say FSG and a fictitious new owner, right? Because we don't have anyone to compare them against. Just because you can't say FSG have done questionable things, therefore they're as bad as another owner, because we don't know who that other owner is, and ultimately there are levels to this. Okay, the other day when we played Chelsea and the whole rent boys thing was coming out, right? That'll be one thing. Imagine we were doing that and we were criticised, and then our owners were, for example, I think a country where homosexuality, for example, is banned. Or we had a situation where human rights for women wasn't saying we were complaining about the women's football team not being funded correctly. I think both of those things are justified, but at the same time they're not the same thing. If I go and have a piss in the street, that's not the same as killing somebody. Both of them are against the law, but they're both fundamentally and in terms of gravity, absolutely not equivocal. So
can I rebuttal
this is something that this is something that I actually think it's important, because once we're just talking about the whole morality issue and prefixed it. Sorry if I'm paraphrasing, maybe I got the wrong end of the stick, but the first thing should be on the pitch. But I think the morality argument needs to be taken very, very seriously from the get-go. I don't think John Henry is whiter than white. Absolutely not. Okay. I absolutely accept that he's probably invested in some shady shit over the years. But Sam and I have gone back and forth about this many times in the past. The difference is that you're talking about possibilities. Okay, John Henry may have invested in some stuff. Maybe he hasn't necessarily directly influenced a company that he's invested in strategy or whatever the case may be. We don't have any concrete proof of these things. For certain other prospective owners, for example, the guys who are looking to take over Newcastle, those things aren't questionable, they're factual.
All right, so can I rebuttal that? So when I was speaking about all the morality stuff, I never once compared FSG to any other owners. I compared them to themselves. Everything I listed there is stuff they've done or tried to do. In regards to other owners, this is my frustration with the argument is, why is it that when you're discussing, and then this is not just at you, by the way, Rack, but why is it whenever we discuss our morality and stuff, we go to the absolute worst? Why does no one talk about the Leicester City owners? Why do we always go to the worst? Because let's not act like again, on the surface, they seem moral, but they're spending more money than we are. So again, when it comes to the morality, yes. Let me land.
Go.
One crime is worse than the other, don't get me wrong. But I'm sorry, but the crimes I've written down here, they're pretty bad as well, bro. And look, don't get me wrong. The stuff that's happening, and again, even when you say things about like what countries are doing, just because someone's from a country doesn't necessarily mean they're involved. And again, I'm not saying they are involved. I'm just saying you can't just say because I'm from Jamaica, I smoke weed, for example. Like that's equivalent of what we're doing. Hold on, let me land, bro. Okay. And then also, when it comes to stuff like that, I could turn around and say, well, and again, I don't even want this to come across in the wrong way because I got nothing but love for people who support us from America. But let's be honest, they come from America. America doesn't cover itself in glory, slavery, the stuff with Trump right now. So can we say, do we have to tar FSG with that brush because
we're getting distracted now?
Like we don't do like it's not right that we do that. Like again,
I want to rebuttal what Cal just said.
Like, I don't even know too much about Saudi and things like that and all that stuff. I don't. But what I don't like is us saying automatically that someone from the Middle East is automatically, or from Arab is automatically like tarnished because of where they come from.
I'm talking about
That's
regimes.
not what
I'm
Raki- that's
specifically
not
talking
what
about
Raki-
regimes
Bingo.
who've been linked
Bingo.
with buying us. The common man in the street, I have absolutely no problem with.
That's what
We're
I was
talking
going to say.
about regimes that have been linked with buying us. That's a totally
That are
different
part of the
situation.
government. That are part of the government. Yes, that's what I was going to.
Am I not right in thinking that John Henry is cozy with Trump, who was the
Yes,
president?
he is.
No.
He's
nope,
not.
Nope.
That's
Nope.
I'm
So
not.
he's
need
made,
to do
he's
better
made,
research.
From what
made
I
up.
understand,
is.
he's made a contribution to his campaign.
Guys,
All right, guys.
Yeah,
Most
no,
multi-millionaires do.
No,
Do you
Mon,
know-
Yeah,
big up
do you know
yourself,
I may be
man.
wrong.
Big up
Yeah,
yourself, Mon.
obviously,
Big up, man. Big
yeah,
up.
You got
I
going
really
in,
want to
Mons.
sign. Yeah, I ain't really
Yeah,
want to sign
yeah,
this
yeah,
chat.
yeah.
I wish I could be here longer. I'm gonna go smoke my FSG pack.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I'm
bless
saying?
up, man. Big up, man. Big up
Big
yourself.
up, bro.
man.
Love,
We'll
bro.
catch up
Big
again.
up,
Y'all
man.
stay
Take
safe.
care,
Y'all
bro.
stay safe and make
Yeah,
sure it's
bless you, Mom,
sustainable.
bro.
Can I respond to the point
Yeah,
that
really quickly though. So,
Do you know?
I
No.
think the person's been blocked. So no, he's not. Bailey, you're getting blocked because you're saying stupid things. So take it up with anyone. You're gonna take it up with me because I'm blocking you and you're gone now. So
Oh wow.
you started bitching and moaning, saying that people blocked you and you were timed out. You're being blocked by me. So if you've got an issue, you know where I am on Twitter. You know where I am.
I
on
didn't even
Instagram.
see what happened there. I didn't
What,
even see what happened.
what I want to do, guys, because obviously the political side of things is obviously very important and there's some very good points being made. But I think we're losing track of what needs
Absolutely.
to be more.
This is what I was going to
about-
say.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't
This
just
is-
keep going deep into that.
Yeah,
so
no,
as the
'cause this
host,
is-
I'm gonna pull back from that. Let's stop any political talk from now
Can I-
on. Let's just stick to football at the moment.
Can I-
So we'll
can
come
I-
back
No,
to
fair enough,
morality.
fair enough.
Let's come back into it. If there's anybody from the FSG in, I'll let you go first this time because Out went first last time.
Can
I'll start with you now because you did say you want to say something. Is there
Yeah,
anything that you want to say to the outers or bring up that football related to do with our own?
yeah. You know when FSG came and bought us, yeah, they didn't promise that they'll be spending money like Man City or Chelsea or PSG. They said from the get-go how their model is. They've admired the way Arsenal were run. So we shouldn't be under no illusion like they made us this false promise that they're gonna go toe to toe for signings for this with the big teams like Man City and stuff. They said they're gonna try and they love the FFP, financial fair play, because that's the only way they thought that they can compete is being smarter than the others. So when people say like Ibrahimovic, he loves Chelsea or City, they show their love by spending. FSG did not once say that that's the route that they're going to go down. And it's a little bit disingenuous to say that just because we're not doing it the way Man City is doing it, or the way that Chelsea is doing it, or the way PSG is doing it, or Real Madrid and Barca, they said that the way they wanted to do it, they've taken us that way. We've become a little bit successful. Yes, there's some stuff that they need to do. They need to fix, in my opinion, but they did not lead us astray or bamboozle us.
Can I?
Yeah, no, go. Is there anyone in the out that wants to?
Yeah, I kind of want to. Yeah. Actually, no, yeah. Let me go first. I know probably Jarrett wants to say something as well, but just quickly, bro. I hear what you're saying, and again, love for everyone for coming on the show. By the way, whether you're FSG in or out, big up you guys as well, and I appreciate every single one of you here. And I'm glad we can have these debates because first thing is as well, yeah. When you said that, I do agree that how FSG didn't promise to like spend loads and loads of money. But what we have to remember, when we were all little and we grew up watching Liverpool, just like how when you first saw football, when you saw that team playing red, your love for the game and your love for this club, Liverpool, you wanted to obviously see the best players play for your club. Now, as history has gone by, we've had that. We've been lucky sometimes and sometimes we haven't been that lucky, right? But when you realize and understand that how big Liverpool Football Club is, FSG might have went in with that mindset, as you said, bro. But surely they've got to adapt because they might have been thinking, "Wow, FFP, yeah, we can maybe outsmart these guys. There's like a wage cap or there's a spending cap." So they're thinking, "Well, we can outgun these guys because we get the best analytics in the world." But the truth is, bro, in football in the UK, when you've got a load of money, people can outspend you and people could just outdo you. Yes, you can be smart with it, and hence why that's how we've got our success with being smart with it. But the problem is, bro, like I've said before, there has to come a time where FSG have to look at that and go, they say, "Oh, do you know what? Yeah, do you know what? We're struggling a bit here. We might have to do something a little bit different." bro, when we were talking about the transfer market yesterday, we weren't screaming for big players, you know. People would have been happy with one Bissouma. So and that's the problem. We feel like as Liverpool Football Club, when we all grew up watching all these great players, yeah, some of them as I said, we got for free. They came from within us, like Robbie Fowler and whatnot, Ian Rush. But then it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch when you're seeing your rivals, Man United, Chelsea, and now City, come into the equation, outspend you, and get these big players that you know that can take you to the next level and then give you dominance. The problem is what we've done is we've got to that top here, but now we can't dominate. And it's quite sad because I feel like even though we'll be able to compete at a certain level, we will never be able to dominate. And we are Liverpool Football Club. Like, as I said before, when you was a kid, do you not want to see your team try and dominate? Or would you rather your owners just be, nah, let's not dominate. We'll just do what needs to be done. And we'll do the bare minimum. Because I feel like that's what they do. And every now
being smart.
Yeah,
being
go on.
I'm going to come to you in a minute, Jamie. Don't worry about it. I will know.
When FSG first came in, right? My whole goal, because I knew that Chelsea was strong, Man City had crazy owners that just came in as well with loads of money. Arsenal were doing all right, but they were falling off a little bit. Man United, obviously, it's been up there since Ferguson. Yeah. So my issue was, can we compete regularly with these guys? I was never thinking we're going to dominate, and I don't think Liverpool will ever dominate unless we have ownership that are like those guys that just throw money at it. And we've got two world-class players in every position. And if you look at all the owners, yeah, it's very rare to have owners like Man City or Chelsea's or PSG's. It's very rare. I don't see it.
But two of them in our league. That's the problem. Two of them.
Exactly. So what FSG is doing, unless if FFP is scrapped, yeah. If FFP is scrapped, then yes, we got to maybe look at the ownership, because I don't think they'll be able to sustain the level of spending that these guys are suspended. But I've never seen a Liverpool team as strong as this. In every position, we've got like a really world-class player. We're not carrying anyone at the moment.
Just quickly, first 11, I think we're good. Sorry, Jam, I'm going to let you go next. I'm just going to be so quick. First 11, I think we're good. But when you get past that kind of 14th, 15th player, you start to see the glaring sort of like drop-off in quality. And not only that, when was the last time Liverpool actually bought a player without having to rely on selling? And I think what it is, it's the model, in my opinion, that needs adjusting. It doesn't need changing. Like I said before, listen, if we would have got Marlon, Bissouma, along with Ibu, I think 90% of the fans would have been happy. Some fans will always be unhappy because some fans want everything, don't they? They just do. But we're realistic with it. All we're saying is to adjust it, give Klopp a little bit more. But when we're sitting there on deadline day, and here's the thing, I was speaking to Drift the other day, Divock Origi is made to look like the enemy, because you hear reports come out, well, unless he leaves, then Liverpool won't do something. And it was like that with Shaqiri. And it's like, that's unfair, man. Like, these are players that have signed contracts. We shouldn't have to rely on them going to go and bring in somebody else when you see other teams they can still strengthen. There's just a way you go about things, in my opinion. And again, maybe you don't want to dominate, and I hear you, but
I want to dominate. I just don't think we're not gonna.
Fair enough. But this is what I'm saying. When we love the game of football, you just want to see your team on top for as long as possible, because you know when that window passes, it's done. And I hate to say it, but when Jurgen Klopp goes, there might be another manager like a Nagelsmann or whoever that might come in and do exactly the same thing. But as things stand, I think once Klopp goes, that window that we have right now, where we can at least have that 3 years maybe of dominating and maybe winning 2 Prems, I don't know if that's still going to be there, in my opinion.
Guys, what I want to do is, I know everyone wants to say something, but I want to bring Jamie in because we are going to wrap up soon, and Jamie and a chance to say anything.
Don't forget Jammer, because Jammer's been wanting to speak. Like,
no, I'll come to Jammer afterwards. I will, but Jamie literally hasn't said anything since we brought him back in. So
no, 100%. Yeah, Jamie's obviously.
What do you want to add to the conversation, bro?
Good, Jamie.
So I agree with a lot of what the outers are saying, to be fair. When I look at it, if FSG sold up tomorrow and we got new owners in, The only thing the new owners would need to do was recruitment, because everything else behind the scenes is well run. They haven't got to worry about anything else. There's a good academy there, got a new training complex. They're building up Anfield. The commercial revenue is better than it used to be. So things behind the scenes is fine. What I'm going, it's all about transfer revenue, and I understand that I'm annoyed and pissed off that we didn't get more players in this window. I know a lot of people think, I don't want players and I want to see us be average for the rest of the time and all this nonsense. That's not true. I want Liverpool to be the best Liverpool they can possibly be. And I'm upset we haven't got more attacking players in, because we are very light there. And if there is an injury, look, let's face it, if there is an injury to Salah that puts him out for a long term, we are in a bit of trouble. And we have to be realistic about this. And so I'm sort of in between. I should be sitting in between you guys. I'm not right in. I'm not right. I'm like a grey Jedi.
There you go. I've just done it. You know what, Jamie? You're getting there. Oh, sorry, wrong place. Shoot.
For this show only, we're all enemies with the bottom row. For this show only. After this is nothing but love.
Jamie's moved in ever so slightly.
Do you know what's crazy is there was actually one or two. Even Gav was going to come in and be in the middle. I was going to actually have a middle panel, which obviously we didn't get a chance to do. And by the way, guys, anyone who super chat has been up on the screen, but I haven't actually read it out. I've made a note of them. If I don't get a chance to, apologies. But obviously, the flow of the conversation is so thingy right now. It's hard to interrupt to get on. But we're making sure all super chats come up on the screen. And just quickly on this one before I come to Jamrock and then Rap before we wrap up. Promo here. This is a question for the FSG in, so I'll let this one actually be answered. Are you happy with the squad despite Mane and Firmino? Promo, I didn't even know you.
Read it, Drift.
Just read
it, despite Mane and Firmino not playing too well recently, and players prone to injuries like Gomez, Matip, Ox, Hendo, Keita, etc. Do you know what, Jambo? Because you was actually going to talk, I'll actually let you answer that one, bro. What do you think about that?
I was furious about the transfer window yesterday, and I think I mentioned it a couple of times in the chat, because I personally felt that we needed improvements to the squad.
Yeah.
And I keep on saying this, though. It's the chicken or the egg issue. Is it that we needed improvements to the squad, and Klopp went to FSG and said, I need improvements, and they said no? Or is it the squad might not need improvements because Klopp believes that the squad that we currently have is good enough to challenge? There are players there that he is over loyal to.
True.
That he probably still sees as starters that we may not. That's one thing. The other thing, a lot of people who are FSG out like to basically gravitate to reports that kind of show FSG in a negative light. And, you know, one of the journalists that they like to source is Fabrizio Romano. And I remember in January, Fabrizio Romano tweeted something saying, FSG being frugal is not the only reason why they are not bringing players in. The other reason is, and this is based on conversation that he's had with agents, players do not want to come here and play 5 to 6 games a season. So the question is,
which I'll let Cal answer.
You know what, Cal, go right ahead.
No, ask the question.
I was going to let you finish.
Yeah, so the question, so the question still comes back to a chicken or the egg issue. I believe we needed strengthening, but does Klopp? Because if Klopp had said something simple as this, we have a very strong squad, but with all squads that have been together, sometimes it's good to have a little refreshment. We don't necessarily need it, but sometimes we need to have a little refreshment of the squad to continue to challenge. I'd be like, you know what? Klopp is saying the same thing behind the scenes. But when Klopp continually comes out and profusely says, no, I think the squad is fine. No, I don't think we need midfielders. No, I don't think we need this. Then at some point in time, I have to believe, you know what? Maybe he actually believes what he's saying.
Go on, Cal.
All right.
Go ahead, Cal. I'm ready for the smoke.
I'm not gonna lie.
Wait,
I was pitching it.
Cal,
I'm gonna lie, bro.
Cal,
Right,
before
bro.
you go, yeah, can I
Yeah.
just say,
Go for it.
with as you've seen with the front three, Klopp is very, very loyal to them. Yeah, they
Annoyingly loyal.
start 90% of games. Yeah, so which player is willing to even accept that, because they've never seen rotation from Klopp, especially the front three.
We
And
have.
so
We've seen it with Jota. Jota started the first.
Jota, because Jota started with fire. Imagine a player needs sometimes they need some time to adapt to the system, to the but they might not get an opportunity because Klopp just likes to go to his tried and tested. Even with Jota, he should have started against Chelsea, but didn't after coming off 2 goals in a row.
But that was
Firmino
tactical.
just came back in.
But
Naby.
Firmino
Look at Naby's agent.
All right, but Naby's. I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
No. I'm saying, look at what
Naby's.
Naby's agent. No, I'm saying, look at what Naby's agent said in regards to his client not starting.
Yeah,
That-
all right.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm just going to say?
That's something you got to say. Say you got to say, Cal.
I'm just going to
What you
say,
gonna
yeah, if I'm out cheating on my wife every night and my wife cheats on me once, I got no right to say nothing. Naby is barely available, so his agent needs to focus on getting him fit and shut his mouth as an agent. That's me being completely raw with it.
I
As an
agree.
agent, shut your mouth. Don't say
I
nothing
agree.
of that. Unless you're Mo Salah's agent, don't say a damn word about your client. You are not Paul Heyman and you ain't got a Brock Lesnar. So I'm going to leave that there. Yeah.
Apparently, it wasn't his agent.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I've
even
heard
his
that
agent,
as well.
some
Apparently
side
it wasn't.
man.
Apparently, it
some
wasn't even an
side man.
agent, Cal. Well, apparently, it wasn't an agent.
Exactly,
I've heard
some
that as
side
well.
man who's probably trying to get a little payday, bro. So he can shush. All right, when it comes to, and again, Jamrock, I'm going to use your theory against you here. I'm going to take things at face value. Yeah, we're saying about Klopp may not want these players, but I'm going to use Brendan Rodgers. How many times did Brendan Rodgers get less short going into a season under these same owners? So we've seen it under a different manager, and in my opinion, we've seen it under the same one. The only difference is, and Brendan even didn't speak about it when he was here. He's only left and spoken about it. So for me, the same thing is happening pretty much with Brendan. The only difference is Klopp's had more money to spend because we've had more money to generate from player sales. So that's the first point. When it comes to Fabrizio, I'm gonna be real with you. Fabrizio's a great journalist, but when it comes to Liverpool, he knows F all because no one does, because we keep our hands close to our chest. Fabrizio said we're certainly going to be signing more players, and we didn't sign more players. Do you know why? Because Fabrizio is assuming things in the same way I assumed that we would sign 2 players, because for me, that seemed like the logical thing to do. I guarantee you, we've had Neil Jones on here, we've had James Pearce on here, two of the journalists who have been closer to Liverpool than probably anyone else, and they didn't have a clue about what was going on. Fabrizio don't have a clue about what's going on at Liverpool, and I'm good with it because
that's not the point I was trying to make, though, Cal. That's not the point I was trying to make, though, Cal.
No, I know, but I'm saying I'm taking things at face value. What I'm also going to ask now, you guys, is you all said that you want owners who make Liverpool a priority. And I'm going to ask a couple rhetorical questions here.
I'll let Rack answer it though, Cal. I'll ask it and I'll let Rack answer.
No, but it's a rhetorical question.
It's kind of rhetorical because I don't want to take up too long because I don't want to just hog the mic. Do you guys honestly think that we are FSG's main priority? That's my first question. You guys spoke about the debt that happened because of COVID, etc. But Redbird came in and they cleared that debt of FSG, not of Liverpool, but they cleared the debt of FSG. So FSG aren't effectively in debt. We speak about debt though, in the club being debt free. We're actually in debt to our owners because the stand wasn't paid for by the owners. They loaned us the money and we have to pay that back with interest. And the next stand that's going to be built is going to be loaned by the money.
The interest.
And we I know what
It's
you're going to say.
low
Mac, I know what you're going to say. The interest is lower.
In real terms, it's no interest.
But it still is. It still is. No, but Rack, in real
terms, it's interest free.
If you say to me, Cal, can you lend me £20? You can go to the bank and ask for that £20. They're going to ask for £2 back. I may only ask for 50p back. By the end of the day, I'm still asking for money back, bro. So interest is interest.
Yeah, but it's all relative because it's the rate of inflation. But it's all relative to the rate of inflation. That's how you
say it, bro. It's a loan.
Yeah, because no, it actually is, Cal.
Because in real terms, it's interest free.
It actually is, Cal.
It's how
that's not how interest works. How you think it works, Cal?
So you're telling me they loaned us the money for free?
The interest rate, I think, is 0.75% or 1%, which is below the rate of inflation. Which is below the rate of inflation.
Below the rate of inflation.
So in real terms, it's interest free.
Yes, it is.
I tell you what's even below the rate of inflation. No interest.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. If I said to you, if you borrow me 100 quid, I'll pay you back next year. If inflation's gone up and you want a bit more money, technically, I should still just tell you, give you back £100 because I'm your friend, isn't it? Like, it should just be like, do you know what I mean?
So, but that was my point here. We keep on talking about no debt. When they build the next stand, they're gonna get credit for that. But who's paying for it is us. So let me get this straight. If, say, for example, you guys have all got kids here, yeah. Let's say, for example, you guys. No, I'm talking about the inners. Sorry. Enjoy your sleep, bro. Enjoy your sleep. Let me put it this way to you. You guys have all got kids, yeah? Say, for example, you fell on hard times. God forbid you don't. And you said, you know what, Cal? Christmas is coming up. I want to get my kids some stuff. Could you front me £100? And I said to you guys, yeah, I'll front you the £100. No worries. If I then turned around. And then you guys were like, I'm going to pay you back next week. If I then turned around and told everyone I bought his kids presents, would you guys agree or disagree with that? Because technically, I've given you the money and you've given it back to me. So technically, who's paid for that?
Yeah.
Because you're the one out of pocket, not me.
Thanks.
Yeah,
and that would be the most.
But I understand these comparisons make sense when you talk about me and you and loaning me a $5 or whatever. But in the world of business, it's not an equivalent scenario.
All right, and I'm going to drop it back to you now again to Rack and Knights 85 Jamrock. Are we Liverpool Football Club or Liverpool Business Club?
We're both. And whether we like it or not, we're both.
And I think that's where there's been a disconnect.
Yes.
I think
whether we like it or not, you're right,
because we've been molded into becoming a business set of fans.
Cal,
if there's no business, Cal, we go bust. If there's no business, we go bust.
No, but that's the thing. We are not a business. We're a football club with an element of business.
No.
In the same way, my car is just not a petrol tank. My car is a car with a petrol tank. If you take away one of the components, it falls apart, yes. But my car isn't just run off petrol, is it? I've got to have other things in the car working for it to work. It's an element. Business is an element of football.
Yeah, again, I don't
because you can have the greatest model behind the scenes, but if you've got terrible players, you
got to disagree.
Do you know what? Do you know how I would put it down? And this is me just getting involved for a second. I think owning a football club should be a lot like being a parent. Except the difference is sometimes as a parent, you don't get a choice because it might have been an accident. But as a football owner, you deliberately do it. You don't wait till that kid gets to 18 and ask for the money back. You know it's going to cost a lot of money to be a parent. Do you get what I'm saying? And you don't go, nah, you can't have no school shoes because it's expensive. It's your job as the parent to make sure your kid has school shoes. So I feel like as an owner of a football club, yes, it is a business. And you guys are definitely bang on saying it is a business. Of course, there is business element to it.
Of course it is.
You can't ask for money back you spend on what you own while you own it. Like for me, that doesn't make any sense.
But that's how business works, though, Drifty.
No, but bro, that's why you should buy the club.
Let me ask you.
That's not how it's supposed to work. That's not how it's supposed to work.
No, whether it's how it's supposed to work or not, that is how business.
It's not.
Let me ask a question.
You haven't spoke for a while. Go, bro.
Yeah, success off the pitch should lead to success on the pitch. That's the entire idea behind us being a business and a football club at the same time. So the point that frustrates us is, yes, you make revenue. Yes, you do all the good stuff, the great stuff that everyone knows. When you do all the good stuff you do, shouldn't that translate to us having a better team, a stronger squad, competing more and more and more? You need to spend money to make money. So when Liverpool win, Liverpool make more money. When Liverpool win the Champions League, they will make more money. When we win the Premier League, we win more money. Even commercially, when we win, we get more fans. When we win, there's more shirt sales. So success off the pitch should lead to success on the pitch. Success off the pitch does not mean that, oh guys, look, we made £100 million. Let's just sit there and not improve the team at all. I think yesterday was literally a travesty. Yesterday was a travesty in our history. Saul going to 5 million euros to Chelsea, which is Adrian and Karius's wages for a year, is a travesty. And Max Aarons was available for 15 million, and we did not get him. Vlahovic at the start of the window was available for 30, 40 million. Now it's 80 because it's too late in the transfer window and his value went up. These are the decisions that are like horrendous decisions, and these are decisions that need to become better. The thing is that the problem is, you guys haven't said it, but the FSG in most people who speak to us go like, oh, you guys want Mbappe and Haaland, you want to cripple the club. And you know, every Liverpool fan now is an accountant. So if we ever get linked to a player, first thing they do is Google his wages, not actually Google where he plays or any of that. Like immediately, how much does Saul earn per week? And they make up this dream scenario in their head. There is football players literally willing to sit on City's bench, Chelsea's bench, United's bench, Arsenal's bench. And if we are in better position than them, there are plenty of players in world football that would sit on our bench. Saul 5 million, Max Aarons 15. If we bought Vlahovic at the start of the window, that's 65 million. 65 million out of 100 million revenue, and the second most revenue in England shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. So even the success that's off the pitch, that's not translating to on the pitch. If we get those 3 players, we have a stronger squad, we have available players, because Ox and Keita can go to take a shit and they'll get injured on the way, because we just have evidence to prove that they get injured. Matip is going to get injured, people. Sorry, breaking news, Matip is going to get injured. Gomez has had 2 surgeries, so he's unreliable. Konate, there's questions over him as well. That's why we renewed Nat Phillips, the legend himself, Nathaniel Phillips, the absolute monster of a man. That's why we
careful. That's my guy still.
I love Bundy, though.
Guys, I just want to say one last thing because I do have to go. I'm literally going live right now on my channel. I just want to say,
we're actually going to wrap up as well. We've gone way over time.
Appreciate that, though. Yeah.
Go on, finish up.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the opportunity. It's been absolutely phenomenal.
Anytime.
All 3 of you, I already knew Callum from Twitter Spaces, so I met him there.
We even spoke the other day and we said we were going to do a show together. So imagine this comes together. It's meant to be, brother.
100%.
You came in like Wayne really banging in a hat trick on his debut, bro. Big. I like it.
Thank you. Big up every single one of you. And
against Wimbledon, bro, we done this. Remember?
For real. Hey, but because obviously we're going to go to the calling show, which is obviously delayed now. But obviously we will. But just to finish up,
sorry.
Can I just say one quick thing?
What's the name of your channel, Don?
Oh yeah, go on, bro.
Yeah,
we'll put it all in the description afterwards. But go on, bro. You let them know.
Yeah. The name of my channel is This Is Football. I know everyone here is a Liverpool fan, but it's a challenge for all football fans. We do a lot of content over there. It's called This Is Football. You're gonna see my face, which a lot of people in the comment section is referring to me as Khabib. So apparently,
I was gonna say,
apparently, I'm the Khabib of Liverpool YouTube. So thank you guys so much. It's a pleasure working with all of you, and see you guys.
Bless, bro. We'll definitely talk soon, man. Big up, man.
100%,
can I say one quick thing? If go
on. Yeah, I want to say one thing after that. Yeah, go on.
Sorry.
Go on. Cool, bro.
I think the conversation has been interesting, but I just wanted to say something. Over the last 48 hours or whatever, it's been quite sad actually, seeing like Liverpool fans really going at each other. And I before the show, I likened this whole scenario to the whole Brexit thing where you have people within the same family at war with each other because of their political views, and it's been ultimately we're all here to. Whatever our perspective, our viewpoints, the rationale and the reason behind it is because we want Liverpool to be successful. And some of us may feel that it's going to be more successful, with one ownership group, with another ownership group, with one, direction or another direction. But we all want the same thing. And I just think that it's sad when we're going at each other and calling each other names, especially on. I know Twitter can be like a horrible place sometimes, but we all want the same thing. A lot of what I'll just say, a lot of what the FSG outers have been saying, I want a stronger squad. I was very disappointed with the transfer window, for example. I think we all, all us inners. Even the in-out label, I think, is divisive because it puts a barrier between us because we're all we all want the same.
All
thing.
Liverpool fans at the end of the day. Yeah,
exactly. So look, I just want to say that, and
big up, bro.
Let me quickly say something. Drift.
No, just quick. Before you go, let me just get through this quickly because some of these things relate to it, and I just want to get it out of the way.
Let me get rid of this.
And I've abbreviated this, guys, as well, so please forgive me. Plus, my handwriting when I'm writing, mad thing. So some of the super chats, How much slack do we give them for the new contracts, which is obviously the one that came up. We'll get to that one in a second. Did FSG say that we would actually get the money from the LFC kick deal with Nike? That is something I don't know if they ever actually told us we would get that money. We assumed it, I guess, as fans. Mario says this window is a disgrace, and they failed us this summer. Tahir says if they don't want to spend, sorry, then why are they here? Mario again says even teams like West Ham, Brighton, the likes, they have outspent us. Star Days, which is one that I want to come to now, if anybody wants to answer this question real quickly.
Could you repeat that?
No, I'm saying now, if this was the season of re-signings, what happened to Genie? Because it does actually feel like this was the summer of re-signing, right?
You want me to answer that?
What happened to Genie?
Elliot.
Did anyone want to answer that one?
Elliot happened.
No, I don't think it's necessarily Elliot happened. I think there was a disagreement in terms of what Genie's weekly wage worth is. He wanted more than what they were willing to offer. They couldn't come to an agreement, and he moved on. It's simple as that.
Okay, I'm not even gonna go into his right or wrong because then my feelings start getting hurt.
There's no right or wrong. It's like any negotiation. If someone says it's this and you say it's this, the choice is up to whether you want to meet that amount that the person requires, or you choose to let that person go. Because in negotiation, one of the leverage that you have to have is you have to have the willingness to walk away.
No, I agree. What I mean when I say that, bro, is if you've got Genie asking for 180 grand a week and you don't think he's worth it, but you've got a player like Oxlade-Chamberlain or Naby Keita that get about 120, 130 that play 5 games a season. For me, if you're going to blame wages on why you don't think Genie's worth giving those wages, I would have preferred you sign Genie, sold Ox, and explain the situation. I don't think anybody would have not got where you were coming from. Do you get what I mean? Like, it didn't make any sense to me, bro. You know what I mean? That's what I mean.
Genie deserved it.
I'll let you say what you wanted to say, Matt, because we're going to finish up.
Let me just quickly get through the super chats before they go. Sorry, Matt.
Go.
Says Cal, who gave Karras a 1-year extension? Edwards, God only knows it. I think that might have been the night Edwards was smoking the wacky backy still. Mario says, with what FSG transfer window is what FSG did this transfer window is nothing short of a disgrace. They failed this
Cal,
summer,
you actually been keeping the track of the ones that I've been physically writing down?
Some of them, not all of them.
Okay. We're both doing a mad thing.
But more importantly, they've foiled us as fans. Mario says, did Henderson deserve a new contract more than Genie? Debatable.
No, he's club captain. He's club captain.
Bingo. That's it. It's not about ability.
Mohammed says these clowns at FSG couldn't get Saul on loan. Mario says, oh no, you've read that one. Promo says, question to FSG, and are you happy with the squad despite? Oh no, we've got that one as well. Sorry. Mackenzie says Camavinga went for 30 mil. Shake my head, FSG out.
Yeah, so Matt, just finish up quickly, bro, with what you wanted to say.
Yeah, just quickly again, because here's the thing. Now, whether you're FSG or FSG in out or FSG in or out, yeah, we all support the same club. We all support Liverpool. But for me, I think the telling thing is that we all support the club, but we've got a owner who happens to be FSG, who's dividing us right now. And I think for me that speaks volumes, because I kind of feel like if an owner was doing certain things, I don't think there would be this massive divide. Like I never saw a divide like this under David Moores and Mick Parry. Obviously, I wouldn't even say we even saw it under Hicks and Gillette, because we all wanted them gone. I don't think no one really wanted them to stay, because we're the owners that were fighting against each other. But this is the first time when I feel like our owners come in and has really divided the fan base. And that for me is a worry, because it shouldn't even be an FSG in or out thing. What we should be asking just as fans is, we want to be the best that we can be. And I understand that you guys have your prerogative to believe that, you know, these owners are doing it the best that they can. But I feel like it's our prerogative as well, as fans as well, to also ask, like, Raj, you know what? Can they do a bit more than what they're doing now? Because we have one of the best managers in world football, and we kind of feel like he's been given the bare minimum to succeed. And it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't know, you're trying to fix something and you've only got a few parts, but he's able to complete it with the parts that he has. But everyone else has been given all the parts. It's a lot easier. It's like, just give him a bit more to compete, because he can obviously compete. He's shown it. We've won a Champions League and we won a Premier League. But I also kind of feel like he's giving them a bit more time as well to kind of get away with some of the things they've been doing. And when I say that, it's more to do with transfers than anything. Because as you lot have rightly said, financially as a club, we're in a very good place. We're not in any debt. We're not in any danger like how we were how many years ago. So they've done that extremely well. Commercially, they've done amazing. But in terms of on the pitch, and that's where it counts, people, I don't want us to also just be looking off the pitch all the time, which we kind of know in today's age in 21. That is the case. We want to look what's on the pitch. What's going to make you guys jump up in the morning and get happy? That's seeing your team score a goal and win a game and potentially win a title. That's what we all want to see. So that's why when I say that, we need to actually come together and not be as divided as we are, but just try and push the club in the right direction. And I think that will kind of take care of itself. So whether you're FSG in or out, it's a thing where it's just like, you love the club from when you was born. You want it to be the best. Let's just hope we can still do that. Because I think right now, this is just my opinion, I don't think we're doing as much as what we could be doing when you think about what we have at our disposal. We've got Mohamed Salah, one of the best strikers to ever play the game for Liverpool. One of the best defenders to ever grace the game in Virgil van Dijk. Alisson, one of the best goalkeepers in the world over the last how many years. We've got a generational right back in Trent, and we've got another one theoretically in Robbo. All we want to do is add a bit, so then we can just keep doing what we're doing and be the best that we can be, man. That's all I can say, man. I just think when you guys even say things, I'm not even angry and that I just want us to come together and just be like, come, we do this thing, man. Because
can I
I
say
want to say one thing before I have to bounce in regards to that.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, and I actually respect what you're saying, but here's the question that I would ask. Is it FSG that's dividing us, or is it we as fans that are dividing ourselves? And the reason why I say is because sports is very similar to, in my opinion, to religion and politics, where sometimes a lot of the conversations that we have are in some cases strictly based on emotions. And you can either choose to engage on certain topics or don't. That's how I look at the FSG in versus the FSG out debate.
The only thing I would say to that,
we don't have to agree on how the club is run. Yes, we do want the same thing. We don't have to agree in terms of how the club is run, right? We just want results to be on the field. What I'm saying is that
Drift, let me rebuttal this because this is what I asked him. Just quickly what you're saying, Jammer. I hear what you're saying, but here's the thing though. All right, let me give you a quick example. When we were losing under Roy Hodgson, I think every Liverpool fan, we weren't talking about owners at that time. We were just talking about the manager's not good enough. We were all probably saying, Roy Hodgson needs to go. He's not the guy. Look at the players he brought in. What you're saying is true because in football, it's all about your individual opinion. Drift might like a player. I might like a player. Callum might like a player. It's all about individualism, right? But at the same time, bro, in my honest opinion, FSG have divided the fan base, not the fans. FSG are the ones that are making you guys, I don't want to even say you guys, but people think, so to speak, that they are amazing or they are doing good enough to where we need to be. I will remind anybody watching this show, Liverpool Football Club has been there from day and we have been winning things from day. Right now, as things stand, we have an opportunity to win, but if we had a bit more impetus from them and a bit more help from FSG, we will be sitting here a lot more confident knowing where we will be and what we can do this season, barring injuries and whatnot. I just feel like, bro, they as a disconnected owner is making us do this. Bro, we got an owner that don't even come to games. We got an owner that wanted to do Super League. Like, we got an owner that wanted to do all these things. And I'm thinking to myself, right, like, is this the guy that we kind of really want at our club? Don't get me wrong.
Can I ask a quick question? Sorry, Matt. Just to everyone who's FSG in.
Literally,
just a 10-second answer. Do you all believe that Origi should leave the club? Let me land here, Drift. Why do you believe so, Jamie?
No,
he's not good. He's not good enough.
He's not good enough to take us further. Yeah.
And he's been here how long now? 7 years.
All right, Rack.
Yeah. I don't think he's good enough, and for his own sake, I think he should also leave. I don't think he should be playing Liverpool Football Club any longer.
Cool.
Personally,
Jamrock?
I think.
Oh,
sorry.
No, go on, Jamie.
I think Origi should do what Willian just did at Arsenal.
Fair enough. With Jamrock?
From a footballing perspective, yes, he should leave the club strictly to maximize his earning potential going forward. If he's not playing, he's not going to end up getting the wages that he wants going forward. What I'd say is this: Liverpool gave him a contract. He's not obligated to leave and go anywhere.
Cool.
That's the reality.
No beats.
Yeah, I agree with that, Ronnie. For his sake, yes, and for his future as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna drop this on you guys. And I know players and owners are completely different. Origi's been there for 7 years, yeah, and he's contributed to us winning a Champions League, and you could arguably say a league title as well. Yeah. FSG have been here for 11 years. They've contributed to us winning a Champions League and the league title. Everyone wants Origi out, someone who turns up every day to training and is professional. But FSG are cool, even though they're the ones that run the club. But can they take us further than where we are now? In the same way, can Origi take us further than where we are now?
All right, Cal, I sort of agree with you. There. Where I'm looking at the moment, in 1992, when the Premier League started, Liverpool got left behind. We can all agree on that, can't we?
Yeah.
We still had the old model from the 80s, and we got left behind with new money coming in. Are we now? I can't believe I'm going to say this when I've been saying I'm in all the time. Are we now getting left behind, like 1992 again, with the wealth that's coming into football, with Man City, Chelsea, PSG, and can we compete against that with the owners we got, like it was when it was 1992?
Do you know what, guys? Here's what I'm gonna do, yeah? Because we have to end this stream and we're gonna come back with the other stream. We'll answer some of the questions in that one, and if anyone wants to jump back in, be our guest. Like, you can definitely jump in. But this one, we have to wrap up so we can get that one started. Okay. Just quickly, Cal, are there any super chats that need to get through before we leave this one out?
Vince's viewpoint, same thing you said about Ings, not good enough, left and is burning up the league. Klopp just has trust issues. I disagree with Ings. We all let Ings go because Ings wanted to play regular football, and injuries absolutely battered the poor guy. He had 2 ACLs back to back.
Yeah.
That's why Klopp couldn't play him. And that's why he wanted to move on, so we got regular game time and built up some rhythm. Couple more here. Kadir says FSG out, no ambition, no future. After Klopp, we are going to collapse. No other manager can succeed under these constraints.
Disagree.
Liam Kenny says the ESL is a single reason why all fans should want FSG out. Sammy says, guys, let's be serious. We should not be FSG out. We should be FSG, get the F out now. Don and Cal, you guys killed it with facts. Love from India. Everyone on here spitted facts. It's not just
it was a great show. Like, it was, and I'm going to be honest, guys. It was a pleasure. As I say, guys, if you guys want to jump back in on the next show, just come out, jump straight back in, guys. But obviously, we're going to go over there now. Everybody was an absolute G. I'm not going to go around and get everyone to give their tags. I'll just put them all in the description. So if anyone wants to check out anybody, everything will be in the description to the video. And I just want to end it like this, because obviously I was quite adrift today, and it made a change. I'm not going to lie. But how I'm going to end it is, whether you're FSG in or FSG out, I've got one question for you.
Years from now, they're going to ask us, where were you when they took over the planet? We're going to say, we just stood by and watched.
Sorry, Drift. Can I just one last thing before we go? Literally going to be 2 seconds. For everyone who's watched this, everyone who's tuned in, firstly, please smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Can I just say something, guys? You see how simple it is for adults to have an adult conversation when they disagree, and we're all going to smile, come off camera, and be friends at the end of it. It's not hard, is it, people?
So
look at that, adults having adult conversations. Simple, innit?
And on that note, Make sure you hit that like button, guys. Subscribe if you're new, and jump straight into the other stream that is in the that's on our channel now. Just jump out of it and jump straight back in there. Now you guys can call in and say on what's been going on panel. Love as always. Let's have time, and we'll catch you on the other side, people. LeBron.